was going to do this video from my dorm room, but I didn't because busy things happened. Yay, college! So instead I'm doing this from an undisclosed location in my house. So hey guys, what's up? So a little introduction for those of you who don't know me, which you all should. My name's Hannah. I used to go to your school. Long time ago last year. Legacy Class of 09. I have since graduated, and I am in college now, and I am here to bestow my wisdom of the college world upon you. You, the next class of Legacy. So let's get started, shall we? So first, a few things about my college situation. I just finished my freshman year at College of Wooster, which is in Wooster, Ohio. It's a small, private liberal arts school, about 1,800 students. Classes I took this past year were first year seminar, lowbrow culture, the written text, the physical text, intro to communication science and disorders, life as narrative, intro to women's studies, literary theory, and their brainchild, women in Chinese literature. My extracurricular activities include where are crickets when you need them? Nah, I'm just kidding. I was involved in Community Arts Connection, Goliard, the Worcester literary magazine, and theater stuff when I could get into it. Here's the thing about college theater in compared to the June play. Auditioning does not guarantee that you will get in. It really does not. Unfortunately, I know this from experience. But enough about me. Let's talk about you. So, the meat. First, I'm going to start off with class selection. One very important thing to know about freshman year. Do not try to get all of your requirements out of the way right off the bat. This is actually a bad idea. Yes, try to get stuff out of the way, but don't just do requirement stuff. Mix it with stuff that you will actually enjoy. If you only try to do the stuff that you don't like right off the bat, then you will have a really boring first year, and you will not like it, and that will be bad. Not good. Bad. Now, of course, registration processes for classes will be different at each school. Like for me, each person has a designated registration time that you have to look up, and you can only register for classes during a certain time slot. I kind of got the short end of the stick for this coming semester and didn't get into a lot of the classes that I wanted to. But that's what waitlisting is for. Waitlisting is your friend. Emailing your professors relentlessly is also your friend. Class attendance. Very important. Missing a day of class is not the end of the world. If you're really sick or something of that nature, sometimes if you're impossibly crazy stressed and you just need a mental break for the day, that's okay. Let your professor know beforehand if you're going to do that. However, very important, if you do miss class, talk to one of your classmates to find out what you missed. If you're in a note-taking based class, then borrow or copy their notes. If it's discussion-based, ask what you guys talked about. Also make sure that there were no special announcements that were made that you missed. Also, it's a good idea to always keep a notebook and some writing utensil with you in case whatever class you're in doesn't allow laptops. Now, I had planned to swear off notebooks and pens and pencils once I got to college because laptop. But it turns out not all my classes would let me use a laptop. Now I know better. Also, and this is really big, huge, super important, it is okay to ask your professors for help. Actually, do this. Really, seriously, do this. Your professors are there to help you. They are there to make sure that you learn things and stuff. Oh, and one more thing. You don't have to raise your hand to go to the bathroom. You can just get up and go. Studying. Do that. Now, of course, different people have different methods and different ways of studying depending on what works best for them. One good tip is having a sort of designated studying time, or in my case, very loose or tight time when you say, this is when I am going to do work. Distractions included. Optional. I usually designate kind of any time between 4 p.m. and 11 p.m. as my work time. Obviously, this doesn't mean I am working straight for those 7 hours. 7? Okay, I can still do math. But yeah, basically when I get to about 11 p.m., I'm like, okay, I'm done. My brain will not cooperate now. Also, highlighters are your friend. But enough about the boring stuff. Let's talk about drugs. Yes, I am actually going to have this discussion. Now, obviously, once you guys go off to college, most of you are probably going to be 18, so your decisions about this stuff are much more in your hands. Drugs are still not a good idea. Saying no to drugs, in practice, is actually surprisingly easy. Yes, I have reached that stage where I have been offered drugs. I said no, and they laid off. It's actually that simple. And if they keep pushing, just keep saying no, leave if you have to. You know, the usual. You guys have probably heard this like 50 gajillion times already. Also, alcohol. You're gonna be in college. There will be alcohol. This is kind of inevitable. This still does not mean that you have to drink it. Don't, because you're still underage, or you will be for another few years. Again, saying no is easy. Anyway, sleeping. Sleeping is good. Getting sleep is a good idea. I do not get enough sleep. I really need to start practicing what I preach. Oh, and one last final rule. Do not use condoms that have been nailed to the wall. For some reason, some of my housemates liked to nail condoms to the wall. I do not know why they did this, but they did. Do not use those. And now we reach the unfortunate land of stuff that I can't give you advice on. Largely because I either don't know anything about it or don't have any actual experience in that area yet. That's kind of the same thing, isn't it? First off, roommates. I did not have a roommate my first year, and I'm not going to have one next year. I have a single. I don't have a roommate. Some of you should be eligible for a need-based single. Having your own space is wonderful. It gets lonely as hell sometimes, but you will appreciate it in the long run. Trust me. I was actually fairly lucky this year in that I was living in a residence house and not in a residence hall. So I was in literally a converted house with about 28-ish other freshmen and an RA. It was awesome. If you guys have the chance to do that, to get into a program house, I highly recommend it. Which leads me to my next point, making friends. Yes, I actually can't advise you on this because I feel like most of my friend making was, okay, I don't really want to say a fluke, but it was more like a series of happy accidents. Long story short, I ran into someone during orientation week who happened to be as hooked on British television as I am at the moment. We discovered a mutual love for Blackadder and Jeeves and Wooster, and now he's got me hooked on Doctor Who. So that's what we've been spending Friday nights doing, marathoning Doctor Who. Which leads me to my next point, stuff to do on weekends. Now, if you're actually living on campus, this will primarily apply to you guys. If you guys are going to commuter schools, then I don't know what to do with you. Yeah, I have not yet gotten into the habit of regularly checking when interesting stuff is happening on weekends. Although if I know that there's a show happening, I go to that, which is usually only about a couple times a month. So, yeah. My next point, dating. Yes, I'm still single, don't rub it in. Also, anything math or science related. I actually have not taken any math or science classes yet, and I know that those require certain sort of special attention-like things that I have not learned yet because I have not taken those classes, and I won't be for a while. And finally, textbooks. Yes, I know this might sound weird, but I actually can't give you guys the best advice about textbooks because I actually really haven't had that much in the way of actual textbooks for classes. Most of what I've been doing in classes has been based on, like, actual books, which quite frankly is a lot more interesting, and I would prefer to keep it that way. Well, unless I'm mistaken, which I probably am, this concludes my little introduction presentation thing. Yeah. So, now I shall open the floor to questions.